Hi there, First Philly, especially Miss Irizary's and Miss Serafin's class. Sorry about that, Miss Serafin. Here we are back again in Miss Allen's music room. Welcome. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It was so nice out, so I got to spend a lot of time outside. I did some gardening. I read a book. I am, of course, right back in the middle of the Harry Potter series. But I'm actually going to start the Artemis Fowl series is going to be my next read. I don't know if you guys have heard of those. They came out when I was around 5th or 6th grade in middle school. And I heard that they're making a new movie out of them, so pretty cool. And I thought that I would catch up just before the movies came out and remind myself why they're such good books. And yeah, so if you wanted to read Artemis Fowl along with me, that's what I'll be doing for the next couple of weeks anyway. So, we spent a long time talking about vocal improvisation. I want to give you guys a break. I know it's not for everybody, this, all this singing and this jazzing that we're doing. So I wanted to kind of appeal to maybe another kind of person in one of your classes. And today and for the rest of the week, we are going to be trying to solve a murder mystery. Woo! And the mystery is called The Composer is Dead. And he most certainly is. This book was written by Lemony Snickett. He's actually the guy who writes the series of Unfortunate Events books. Again, not sure if you guys know those. That's another one that came out around the time that I was in middle school and heading into high school. And that unfortunately means that you guys were not yet alive. I'm very old, friends. Not as old as some teachers, certainly, but it's kind of an ongoing joke between my friends and I that since I'm kind of the oldest person in my friend group, that I'm the grandma of the group, which, all right, get off my lawn. So, there is actually a reading of this book, The Composer is Dead, that's done by Noah Cornelius on YouTube. So I'm going to be playing you guys just like the first, in 10-minute increments, the story. So I might have to fudge it a little bit depending on where in the story we stop and start. But then on Friday, we're going to have officially solved our mystery. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. So, I'm going to travel you over to YouTube now. It's going to have the book pages up on the screen. Sorry about the bar that's going to be over here. I actually can't turn that off because of the microphone that I am using. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoy it. And here is The Composer is Dead. And I'm just going to kind of be up here in the corner. And I might stop it occasionally and give you guys some things to think about. Okay. Also, sorry for this real loud bird that has decided my time teaching is not that important. Alright, so here is The Composer is Dead, the first installment. You can see it was illustrated by Carson Ellis. And the music that accompanies this book was composed by Nathaniel Stuckey. I don't know if I've ever heard his music before, but here we go. We're all going to hear it now.
The composer is dead. is a word which here means a person who sits in a room, muttering and humming and figuring out what notes the orchestra is going to play. This is called composing. But last night, the composer was not muttering. He was not humming. He was not moving or even breathing. This is called decomposing. The composer's death was very suspicious, and so the inspector was called in to find the murderer or murderers and haul them off to jail. "I will begin by interviewing all the usual suspects," the inspector said. Like all people in his line of work, this composer had many enemies lurking in the orchestra. They can lurk all they like, but I will find them wherever they are lurking. I will find them if they are lurking in the strings. I will find them if they are lurking in the brass. I will find them if they are lurking in the woodwinds. I will find them if they are lurking in the percussion section. I will find them wherever they are lurking. I will find them! The inspector was a very handsome and intelligent person, not unlike myself. "I swear on my own intelligence and good looks," the inspector said, "I will solve this terrible crime against humanity and/or classical music." And with an intelligent, if somewhat flamboyant gesture, he reached into his pocket and took out the notebook he used for all official business. "First, I will interrogate the strings," he cried. "Strings, where were you on the night in question?" The violins answered first, of course. The violin section is divided into the first violins, who have the trickier parts to play, and the second violins, who are more fun at parties. "We were performing a waltz," said the violins. We played graceful melodies, so the ladies and gentlemen could spin around and around and around until they felt dizzy and somewhat nauseous. This kept us busy all night. Making a note in his notebook. "Perhaps you murdered the composer for making you play so much." "Don't be ridiculous," the violin said. Violins are the stars of any orchestra. If we killed the composer, we would have to find work at square dances or in romantic restaurants. That's true, the inspector admitted. But what about you, cellos and basses? The cellos and basses sighed. The cellos and basses are often weary from dragging their large bodies around. The basses in particular are so enormous that they can't even fit into taxicabs without sticking their curly heads out of the window. We were providing accompaniment, they said. You can't waltz without a reliable 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's boring, but it's steady work. Aha! The inspector cried. Perhaps you murdered the composer for giving you such boring things to play. On the contrary, the cellos and basses said, we don't feel the need to show off like certain stringed instruments we could mention. Well, I guess that takes care of the strings, the inspector said. Oh, the violas! I forgot all about you. Everyone forgets about us, said the violas bitterly. We play the notes and the chords that nobody cares about. We play crucial countermelodies nobody hears. We often have to stay late after performances and stack up all of the chairs. We spent last night feeling sorry for ourselves, as usual. But we did notice that the concertmaster was acting strange. She was talking and laughing with the composer and carrying a suspicious black case. The concertmaster is the best violin player in the entire orchestra and is often accused of treachery. I was talking with the composer about my cadenza, she said, using a word which here means fancy solo part. I'd never murder someone who was giving me such an excellent opportunity to show off.
All right, I think we're probably going to stop there for today. But we got ourselves started just then on The Composer is Dead. Ooh, sorry, made my frame a little bit too big here. Okay, for some reason I can't fit it back in the frame. So we will pick up again with The Composer is Dead on Wednesday. And it looks like the next step in our investigation will lead us to the woodwinds. So stay tuned.